Alright, here we go with the 6-1B notes. We're going to be working with our slope formula a lot in this section of notes, so let's go over this bell ringer. When a tree is planted outdoors, it is 8 inches tall, so we want to create a point from that. So this is at 0, the time 0, right when it was first planted outside, it was 8 inches tall. After 8 months, the tree is 2 feet tall. So after 8 months, it is 2 feet tall. Now, if you make your list like this, I want to point out to you the problem here is one of them is in inches and the other one was in feet. Okay, so we want to be careful that we don't make that mistake. We want to have the same units. Okay, same thing as if it was listed in weeks and months or days and weeks or something like that. We want to keep everything consistent. So since we have this in 0, 8 inches, after 8 months, 2 feet tall is the same thing as 24 inches. Okay, so we want to make sure that we are doing that. Okay, change them so they all have the same units. So we're going to use our slope formula. Okay, and this is the slope formula that we will be using throughout all of the notes today. Just wanted to make sure that you had some more practice with it. Before we start writing equations of lines. This is going to be an important topic that we understand how to do. So make sure you know how to use your slope formula. Here it is, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Like I said in the last notes, replace them with parentheses before you start plugging numbers in. So my y2 is 24 minus the y1 is 8 and x2 is 8 minus x1 is 0. Alright, so let's go ahead and subtract these. 24 minus 8 gives me 16. And 8 minus 0 is 8. So this grew an average of 2 inches per month. Okay, 2 inches per month. Alright, so here we go. You saw this rate of change slope before. This is your slope formula. Here we go. Slope. There you see it twice. This is the way that you will see it on your Keystone exam formula sheet. Okay, so let's just go ahead and do some examples of this. Alright, so if you want to label them, you can. Some people like to do that, x1, y1, and x2, y2, that should be a 2. You could also just label them as, like, some people just like to put a 1 here and a 2 here just so they remember. It does not matter. We want to just make sure that we plug them into our formula correctly. Okay, x2 minus x1. Now, replace your variables y2, y1, x2, and x1. You want to replace them all with parentheses before we plug in any numbers. y2 is 8 minus y1 is 4 over x2 is 3 minus x1 is 2. So let's subtract them now. 8 minus 4 gives me 4, divided by 3 minus 2 is 1, so my total slope is 4. Now some people might be thinking, well, what happens if I mix these up? Like, let's say I did 4 minus 8 and I did 2 minus 3 and I accidentally switched them. What's going to happen? 4 minus 8 is negative 4, divided by 2 minus 3 is negative 1. What's a negative 4 divided by negative 1? 4. So what happened? Nothing. Okay, it's the exact same thing. You could do it either way. It really does not make a difference. What you cannot do, though, is switch the, make this 4 minus 8 and then have it be 3 minus 2. Because that will give you an incorrect sign every time. Okay, it'll be a positive instead of a negative or a negative instead of a positive. Alright, let's do another one here. So again, some people just like to put a 1 and a 2 by the numbers and just know this is x1, y1, x2, y2. But we'll come back to our slope formula every time. This is what we're going to start off with. I would suggest you write it down every time because it helps you to remember the formula. Even though you're given the formula, if you already know it, it saves you time on your test. Okay, and we want to make sure that we use our time wisely. So let's plug in our numbers here. y2 is negative 3 minus y1 is 3. Some people might look at that and say, well, isn't that 0? No, we don't get a 0 there, so just keep that in mind. x2 is 1 minus x1 is negative 2. So what happened there? I just ended up with a double negative, which I will change to a positive. So what do we have up top? I already told you it's not 0. So what is negative 3 minus 3? Well, that gives us a negative 6. How about 1 plus 2? Well, that gives us a 3. And my final answer is negative 2. How about C? Again, some of you may like to write this, just put the 1 up top and the 2 up top. Some of you may be more comfortable writing x1, y1, x2, y2, and then go through and plug it in. So I'm starting with my slope formula again, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then I will replace those with parentheses before I plug any numbers in, because I don't want to miss any double negatives and end up with the wrong answer. y2 is negative 5. And if I'm going through this too quickly, feel free to pause the video and catch up, okay? You can do that anytime. That's the benefit of having videos, is that you can pause, rewind, and watch it at your own pace. x2 is negative 1 minus x1 is 4. So what do we got here? Negative 5. Whoa, I got a double negative again. Let's change those to positive. Negative 5 plus 7. Use your calculator. Negative 5 plus 7 is 2. Divided by negative 1 minus 4 is negative 5. It does not matter if the negative is out front, on the denominator, or on the numerator. Those all mean the same thing, okay? Doesn't matter if it's down on the denominator, if it's out front, or if it's up in the numerator. They're all the same. Next one. This one might be our last one. Oh, we got one more. Oh, two more. Sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself here. So x1, y1, and x2, y2. Some of you might be thinking, oh, this is kind of an easy topic. All I'm doing is plugging numbers into the formula. Why are we doing so many examples? And it's because you might be the only one that thinks that. This is kind of challenging. It's difficult to get the numbers correctly, the double negatives, the reducing fractions, make sure you leave them as improper fractions. Like, there's a lot of different little things in here. So I just wanted to make sure I had plenty of examples that everybody can make sure they know what they're doing, okay? So let's write down the formula, replace everything with parentheses before I do anything else. This is something I tell my students to do every year, and the students that do it generally end up getting the correct answer. The people that don't usually end up missing a negative sign and they get the answer wrong. So I would highly, highly suggest you do this. So my y2 is 3, minus my y1 is negative 6. What happened there? Double negative again. My x2 is a negative 2, minus my x1 is a negative 4. And again, same thing happened here. I got a double negative. All right, now let's see what we get. Break out the calculator. 3 plus 6 is 9 over negative 2 plus 4 is 2. And again, this is what I was saying. Do not change this to 4.5. We need to leave this as an improper fraction. That is the correct answer. 4.5, although it is the same thing, is an incorrect answer. We need this in the form of rise over run, because when we get into our graphing stuff, you have to have it in that form. So leave it like that. Don't do anything with it. E. Next up, E. Again, I'm going to put my x1, y1 and my x2, y2. And I would suggest you pause the video, try the problem, and see what you get. Check back and see if you have the correct answer. If you can get the correct answer on E and F, I think you're pretty solid on this, and you will definitely know what you're doing for these type of problems. All right, so let's see. Hopefully you paused the video and tried it, and we're going to see what we get here for our answer. And if you did not pause the video, no worries. We'll just do this one here together, and you can make sure that you have the correct answer here. So let's see what we got. All right, let's plug them in. y2 is negative 4 minus y1 is 8. No double negatives there. On to the denominator, x2 is negative 6 minus x1 is negative 2. Again, double negative. Let's clean that up. What do we have up top? Negative 4 minus 8. negative 4 minus 8 is negative 12. Divided by negative 6 plus 2. Negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4. Reduce this and we get 3 as our answer. You could write that as 3 or 3 over 1. Both of those are acceptable. Last one here, again, I would suggest you pause it, try it on your own and see what you get. Alright, hopefully you did that and you're ready to check your answer with what we get here. Okay, so I'm going to label everything. Start with my slope formula. One last time here, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 equals, this is supposed to be an equal sign. It kind of looks like a greater than sign. It's not, it's an equal sign. I'm replacing everything with parentheses because I want to make sure I get it correct and I don't miss any double negatives. So I'm going to replace the y2 y1 x2 x1 with parentheses first. y2 is 10 minus y1 is 11 over x2 is negative 3 minus x1 is negative 5. Double negative again, change your double negatives to positives. Change both of them. 10 minus 11 is negative 1 divided by 3 plus negative 3 plus 5 is negative. Oh no, not negative, sorry. The overall answer is negative. Negative 3 plus 5 is 2. So there's your final answer, negative 1/2. And again, like I said, you could put the negative out front, or the negative could even be with the denominator. It doesn't matter. All three of those are the same thing. Okay? So again, like always, if you have any questions, ask us in class or send an email or private comment, and we will get back to you.